Wow, what's going on in the kitchen today, girl?
What do you think, Chili Smith? Well, how about if we make some cornbread?
Woo!
Okay.
My name's Chili.
Chili.
We love cornbread.
I know. Cornbread and chili. Cornbread and any kind of beans, I think, goes great. Don't you think?
Anything.
All
but
right,
I gotta
let's
ask
try
you a
this.
question now.
Okay.
You always say my cornbread you can't eat because...
Because it's not vegan and it's not gluten-free and it's got oil or butter or something in it. So
Well, you haven't eaten it, but I can tell you it's delicious.
I've heard it's the best. So this is going to be second best, but this is going to be great. Steve, I don't know if you know that I used to work at Marie Callender's. Okay,
Ooh.
yes, called Twyla's Pies, but they called Marie Callender's instead. And Marie Callender, other than pies, what do people love about cornbread? Okay, let me tell you, I've seen that made before. It is not cornbread, it is corn cake. All right,
yeah.
it was so fluffy and so sugary. It was not cornbread. So this is, I call this a rustic cornbread because that's what it is. It's pretty rustic, it's pretty basic, but it's pretty good. So if you think it's kind of boring, dress it up with some beans.
And it's healthy.
I would say that, yes.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
I'll let you to it.
Because
and then
what's our motto?
Our motto is to a healthier you in 2022.
Excellent, and we've got that ready to go.
Get to
cornbread.
baking.
Okay, you're gonna get to taste it. So welcome, we're so glad to be here again. Welcome, how's your year going? We wanna thank you so much for joining us. We're up to, I think the cameraman said we're up to 100,000 subscribers now. Is that what you said? Okay, no, something like that. I don't know, we're ready to go. Anyway, we've got another great recipe for you. This one I tested out yesterday. I think it turned out great. I hope you're going to like it, and it's really easy. So I mixed up everything already, just so you didn't have to see me measuring, but let me tell you what I did. I put in 1 cup of cornmeal, and I like, of course I use organic, so I like to use the organic cornmeal that's really fine. You can make it a little bit more rustic if you use the coarser grind, you know, if that's the way you like it. I kind of like it to kind of taste a little bit smoother, so that's why I used a really fine grind. I also used gluten-free flour. This is one of my favorite brands. Again, I don't get a commission or anything. It's called Gluten-Free Heaven, and they've got a lot of different flours. They've got cake and pastry, they've got carrot cakes, they've got all different kind of mixes. So I use this, but you can use any gluten-free flour, or if gluten isn't an issue for you, use any type of flour that you want. And I've also, of course, added bean powder or bean flour. Same thing that we've been using to get your beans in. We talked about that earlier in a couple of the other episodes about the G-bombs. So this is a way to get beans in. If you follow Dr. Greger says you need 3 servings of beans every day. 3 servings of beans every day. So we'll start out with the smoothie. Then we can have some cornbread because it's got beans in it. And then for dinner, we'll have some chili and cornbread. Anyway, we've got you covered on that. So what I did is I took a cup of cornmeal. I took 1 cup of the gluten-free flour. Now I haven't added the bean powder yet because I wanted to show you how much I add in that. We're gonna add 1/4 of a cup of that in there. So I'll measure that out. And those of you who know me know that, yeah, as far as measuring goes, that looks about right. Then we're gonna whisk it up a little bit. I love whisks. They have all these different whisks and all these different sizes. And so we're gonna whisk it up again, very rustic, very easy. We're not sifting it. We're not doing anything special like that. And then I've already mixed the wet ingredients. And for the wet ingredients, what we're going to use is 1/4 cup of maple syrup, which is organic, and I've already put it in there. We have 1 1/4 cup non-dairy milk. I used oat milk. I think in one of those other episodes, I used that Kiki milk. You could use that. You could even use water if you want. It's not gonna have that same creaminess, but if you're avoiding all plant-based milks altogether, you could use water. And then I used a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, just to give it that pop. You know, it's really fun. I have used lemon before, same sort of thing. I've used lemon in it, but this time I used apple cider vinegar. Then I also put in 1/3 cup of Aquafaba. Aquafaba, you know I've mentioned Aquafaba before. Because I use the cooking water off of the Pirano beans that I made earlier. So the cooking water. If you soak the beans, remember you don't use the soaking water, you use the cooking water. And it created a lot. So that's why I didn't bring in the whole big batch of the cooking water. But if you don't have the cooked bean water, you could also use canned beans, canned garbanzo beans, the water, the juice from the beans. So you want to drain those. Don't drain all the water down the sink from the beans or the juice. You want to save that. And it comes up to about 1/3 of a cup. And that's what I use for the cooking water from the Pirano beans. So if you cook your beans at home, that's fine. You can use that water, again, the cooking water, not the soaking water if you soak the beans, or the water from the can of beans. So I'm going to mix that up a little bit. So again, I've got the Aquafaba in there, the maple syrup in there. I've got the non-dairy milk in there, and then I'm slowly, let me move this so you can see, I'm slowly adding the dry ingredients. You know, I can smell cornbread. I know that sounds weird, but I can really smell it, and I just love that smell. Again, totally different than when I worked at Marie Callender's. How many of you used to eat Marie Callender's bread, cornbread? Tim, how about you? Did you ever have? Yes, exactly. And we used to serve it with that honey butter stuff. And I remember people would say, I don't want the end piece. I don't want the end piece. And then there were people who just like, I want the end piece. And in order to get a good tip, I'd always give them 2 pieces of the end piece because not as many people wanted the end piece as they did want the soft, smooth, watery, soft, look at this water, the soft, smooth, creamy part of the middle. Most people wanted the middle. Now, how does that look? Already, it's looking great. How easy is that? So again, when we're using plant-based products, we don't have to worry about salmonella, we don't have to worry about eggs, we don't have to worry about regular milk. And it's okay if it has a couple of lumps in it because they're going to bake out. Now, traditionally, you could make this in a cast iron skillet. I don't do that because you need a lot of butter or a lot of oil or something to make it so that it doesn't stick. So instead what I do, I'll move all this for you, I put it in an 8 by 8 inch pan. And you'll say, well, don't you have to butter the pan? No, because my best friend comes to the rescue, parchment paper. People say, what do you want for Christmas? And I go, parchment paper and a very good vanilla. That's what I want. So put that on your Christmas list. So I'm gonna just cut it like this. Now, another trick I learned this from Chef Bravo at True North. I didn't go to True North, but I got to meet him last October I met him. He's so great. He's the executive chef at True North, makes all these delicious things. He's got 2 cookbooks out. He also has I think it's a YouTube channel. I think he does. Don't watch that until you've watched ours, okay? Just decide. So you're thinking, well, it never fits in there right. How do you get it to stay? Here's what he told us to do. Well, that was a waste of parchment paper. It wasn't a waste. Once you crinkle it and then open it, amazing. It fits and stays right in there. How cool is that? What a great idea. So then we're going to pour this delicious batter into the parchment paper. And fill in the sides there. And then, let's see. I don't know if I can use this oven behind me. Do you think? This looks like the oven that my grandmother used to make, used to use. I actually made a lot of mud pies in that when I was a kid. So now I'm gonna put this in the oven, and then I'm going to bake it for approximately, I'm gonna check on it at 23, 25 minutes. It's set at 400 degrees. I want you to look at your own oven. Everybody's oven has a little bit different temperament. Some people use an oven thermometer. Some people just open it up, check and see. So check, because I cooked mine for 30 minutes and it worked perfectly. But I would start checking in about 23 minutes. So it's 400 degrees, check it at about 22, 23. Check it in 22 minutes because we're in the year 22. Okay, very good, yes. And then it comes out looking something like this. Whose mouth is watering? I can see our cameraman drooling over there. Steve, what do you think?
Oh, it looks good.
You ready for a taste?
I'm ready.
All right, come on in. Now I cut it up into squares like that, and there's different sizes, but just look how it breaks. Look at the break on that. Mmm, yum. It's delicious. Not as good as yours, Steve, but I think
it might be better.
I don't know. Maybe a little bit healthier, but
That's good.
pretty good. So, finger licking good. No, wait, that's somebody else, isn't it? That's somebody else, okay. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. And let us know some of the things that you want us to make. One of the episodes coming up, I'm going to try a kale potato bake.
Right.
Added some beans. I've got this recipe. It was inspired by Jill Dalton. If you ever watch her, watch ours first, then watch hers. Ever watch her YouTube? A kale potato bake. Sounds delicious. I'm going to add some maybe Pirano beans or Heterite or something.
Yeah, we're coming into that time of year where everybody wants to have something that's hearty.
Yes.
And so I think with you doing that, I'll probably do maybe some of our vegan vegetarian chili that has your name on it in the store.
And do that because I'm over the holidays, I use that chili, Twyla's approved chili, and I made enchiladas. Ooh. They were the best, absolutely. Look at all the things we have to make.
I know.
We're gonna be busy. All right, that's why we want you back here.
We appreciate all the comments you guys have sent to us, and just remember to subscribe. Let us know. We're just like everybody else. Like us on that thing. It helps us. And if you're close, come on by this new Will Call store and we'll give you a quick tour of the bean operation.
And we might even have some cornbread for you.
Well, that'd be a deal.
All right, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.